Hey guys, Alex Sturgeon, HobbyTown, HobbyPlex, and we're gonna do a new segment. It's gonna be a three-parter. We're gonna go over what I'm gonna do for our HobbyPlex 1000 Offroad Enduro. The goal is to make 1,000 laps, or at least the leader is gonna make 1,000 laps. Hopefully, that'll be me. So, most of the time we've used two-wheel drive off-road buggies with 13.5 motors and the biggest pack we can cram in there. Rear motor cars are getting a little harder to find parts for and stuff, to find good ones. I recycled my old 22 a couple of years ago, so I thought, well, let's turn this into something unique and different. And so what I'm gonna do is I've decided to see if I can make the good old-fashioned Traxxas Slash bulletproof. We're gonna call it the Bulletproof Slash 1000, and here it is. So it started out as my son's and I's regular Slash that we used for our stock Slash class here for a while, and then my kid got a hold of it and he kind of beat it up a little bit, and so we're pretty much going from front end to rear end. We're going to go over what I've gotten done so far, and so let's just get started really quick. So first things first, you'll see I put the LCG chassis on it. I was able to snag one of these from somebody who had an extra one, so I thought that was great. My son, with our other Slash, before this was looking like this, he actually bought already the STRC aluminum bulkhead and the STRC front bumper. Obviously it's been used, and because my son drove it, it's also bent, but it'll still serve its purpose, so whatever. I went ahead and I got the Traxxas front caster blocks and spindles for it. And what else have we done to it? Oh, we're gonna go with the good old trusty ProTek 160t servo. It's metal cased, metal geared. It produces a 260 ounces of torque, and it's still really fast, 0.08. It's one less thing to worry about. And then another thing that I did is I got the STRC bell cranks for the Traxxas Slash 4x4. Now here's the thing, because they're made for the 4x4, they don't necessarily all work. All the pieces don't necessarily work for the two-wheel drive, but the main steering arm here does, and so that's what I'm using. The rest of it, if you can get the whole, if you can look at that, the cross brace there is also now metal, but the rest of this has to remain plastic. But it's the plastic bell cranks. It's way better than the white regular bell cranks that come with the cheaper Traxxas Slashes, so that is definitely an upgrade. Then I had some things to think about. So one of the most common brakes that we see here at the HobbyPlex on Traxxas cars is the Traxxas top shaft. So it's a two-piece top, actually technically it's three-piece. You have the shaft itself, and then the gear goes on to the pin that's been pressed in there. And more often than not, I see that pin being broken. Now there really isn't too much option out there for just a one-piece machine top shaft like Team Associated, Team Losi, all the major race companies have on their cars. However, the Proline transmission does fix that issue. So instead of having the Traxxas two-piece top shaft, I now have it as a one-piece machine, so this takes one less thing out of worrying about braking. And then also with the Proline transmission, two things happen. One is it's no longer a one-piece transmission case, it's a two-piece, so if I break these, the arm mounts, I can replace those by itself without having to tear apart the entire transmission. So I've got myself a couple of these now in my box, so if we do break an arm mount during the race, we can fix it quickly. But then also with the Proline transmission, it gets rid of the Traxxas slipper clutch system, which these pads, this is a huge upgrade than what they had before with the little pegs. That was 8 years ago, maybe longer than that, whatever. But over time, the stock Traxxas pads will actually get a little bit heated up and get brittle, and then they'll break, and then when one of these disintegrates, you basically have no slipper clutch, so you can't go. So the options were, with the stock transmission, I was going to get the Hot Racing metal pads, or go with this transmission. I decided to go with this transmission. So now we're using the Proline slipper clutch and the Proline spur gears. So that's another thing that I'm going to have as an option when if I break it during the race. Hopefully that won't happen. And then one more thing about the transmission that I thought was going to be beneficial for us too is it does have the metal plate. I could have gone with the RPM transmission case. You get the plate, but again, the top shaft for me, I just feel like, you know, this race could turn into 7 or 8 hours, and I didn't want to sacrifice, you know, just I wanted to be confident with what I had. I think I'm going to be confident with this. I've read some reviews that the Proline case might break. I don't know. I feel like I'm a good enough driver. I'm not going to do anything stupid during the race and break the case, so I should be fine. So that's what I got done so far. I've got a lot of stuff to do. That's why we're going to make it a 3-parter. The next thing that I'm going to do is the rear end and replace all the arms. I've decided to go RPM. We'll talk about that next time. Then we got to talk about the electronics, the battery, what we're going to do for the body, all that good stuff. But I just wanted to give this a start. The HobbyPlex 1000 Offroad Enduro is November 24th. It's a Sunday. The doors open at 8 o'clock. We're going to start racing at 9 o'clock in the morning. The race used to be called the 11th Hour Enduro, and we did it quite a few times. It was tons of fun. It was 11 hours, so it got a little long. We used to start at 7 and not get, doors open at 7. We started at 8. We didn't get done until 7 p.m. That was a long day. I still wanted it to be a big challenge, though, and I wanted to see what all of our competitors could come up with to make that distance, and I'm excited to see what the rest of them come up with. So part 3 of this video will be the actual race, and man, I can't wait to make that one and show you guys. But we got to get there first. So that's it for now. That's all we got. We appreciate you tuning in, and make sure you subscribe, like, tell your friends about the channel, and I look forward to making part 2.